His friend's casual taunts revealed a sickening truth. The man Eleanor loved, Ethan Clark, saw her as nothing more than a pawn. It turned out her brother, Daniel Hayes, was Ethan's sworn enemy. Their whole 3-year relationship, including the time he heroically saved her from an attacker, had been a setup to get revenge. Overhearing his cruel laughter as he bragged about using her, Eleanor collapsed in the pouring rain, utterly devastated. The world spun and she woke up in a hotel room with her head throbbing. A strange man, Mark, lurched into the room and told her she couldn't escape. As he grabbed her, another man, Alex Stone, burst in, punching the attacker and sending him running. The handsome stranger gently covered her with his jacket and carried her to the bed. Drugged and disoriented, she begged him for help. The next morning, she woke up in his bed. She offered to pay him back, but he simply said she should repay him with her body. Back in the present, sitting in the cold rain, Eleanor realized it had all been a lie.
相爱3年，到头来，我只不过是你报复我哥的工具。假的，假的，都是假的！
Laughing through her tears, she called Daniel, who was furious she was with his rival. She told him it was over and that she was coming home to meet the fiancé he had chosen for her. After she hung up, Eleanor began to plan. 3 days from now was the engagement party, the day Ethan planned to release intimate videos to humiliate her brother. She vowed to delete the videos and disappear from his life forever before he could destroy her family. Eleanor sat down with Ethan's other fiancée, Catherine Vance, a cruel woman who openly mocked her.
肖家和许家不是绝交联姻，他会马上跟你取消婚约并且分手。但我劝你还是主动点离开，我还能给你一些钱，否则就是自找难看。
Catherine said their families were arranging a marriage and warned Eleanor to leave, even offering money. But for Eleanor, it was no longer about love. It was about protecting her brother. She calmly told Catherine Ethan was cruel and heartless, which enraged Catherine. In a second, Catherine threw a glass of water in her face and shoved her to the ground. As Eleanor fell, her hand cut and bled. Ethan rushed in and yelled at Catherine. At home, Ethan confronted her and asked why she was throwing away their mementos. Pretending to be hurt, Eleanor said she only wanted to make new memories and had quit her job to focus on their future. Ethan seemed to believe her, but she saw the suspicion in his eyes. Later, while he showered, Eleanor raced to his phone, knowing she only had seconds. As she desperately tried to unlock it, he walked back into the room. After the confrontation, Eleanor was rushed to the hospital, but it was just a ploy. That night, she waited for him to fall asleep and then took his phone. Scrolling through his messages, she found the proof, a video of him and his friends plotting. They planned to leak her intimate videos at the engagement party to ruin her brother. Catherine even suggested staging a car accident to get rid of her for good. With a shattered heart, Eleanor knew what she had to do. While he slept, she booked a flight and deleted every photo and video from his phone. The next morning she packed, telling him she was going to pick up her brother. Ethan grew suspicious, but she lied easily and said the luggage was for old yoga clothes. He begged her not to go, but she left without looking back. At the airport, she sent one last message and turned off her phone forever. It was over. At the engagement party, Ethan and his friends waited for Daniel to arrive, ready to spring their trap. Instead, a delivery man appeared with a package for Ethan. It was a ring box from Eleanor, the same ring she had told him to return if he ever stopped loving her, a sign their relationship was over.
怎么，这是想拿戒指套住我？
才不是呢，小雨辰。若是哪天你不要我了，你就把戒指还给我，代表我们永远结束了。
这不可能。
What he didn't know was she had planned this all along and had thrown out their couple photos and things. Panicked, he tried to call her, but the line was dead. His friends mocked him, saying she wouldn't leave because she loved him too much to refuse intimate videos. They claimed it was a trick and that she must know about his revenge plan. Ethan became enraged, realizing they had pushed her away. His new fiancée, Catherine, warned him that if he left, the $10 billion investment from her family would fall through. He shoved her away and raced out, only to crash his car. Waking in the hospital, he ripped out his IV, convinced it was all a ploy. After 2 years abroad, Eleanor finally returned and promised her family she'd never leave again. Daniel noticed she seemed different, but she brushed it off. In the car, he handed her a thermos just like the one Ethan used to carry, and it triggered a memory.
芝芝，给你备的凉茶，带着吧。
哦，谢谢哥哥。
芝芝，到了那边啊，记得给哥哥来个电话。
哎，你知道的，哥哥，你快开车吧，一会儿来不及了啊。啊。
She remembered 2 years ago Ethan being on the phone with her when he suddenly hung up because Daniel's company was trying to outbid his for a project. She was devastated, thinking he had been using her. To help him, she decided to steal her brother's bid documents. She didn't know it was a trap. Back in the present, she found Daniel's bid documents and tossed them in the trash, realizing it had all been a scam. At that moment, Daniel walked in and asked why she was throwing away the documents he had worked so hard to get for her. Eleanor ran into her brother's arms, crying and apologizing for leaving. Daniel reassured her and said he'd give her the whole company if that's what she wanted. She noticed something felt off, but he quickly changed the subject. As they left, he took her hand. Eleanor went to a salon for a makeover. As she was about to leave, Daniel showed up with flowers and the keys to a new yoga studio, her lifelong dream. A stylist assumed he was her boyfriend, and he just smiled and took her hand. Later, she asked him about it, but he distracted her. Meanwhile, Ethan had been drinking non-stop for a month, wrecked by her leaving.
我错了，你回来吧。
His sister Olivia confronted him and told him to get over it and fight for her if he really loved her. Olivia was right, he thought, and he rushed out to find Eleanor. He went to a flower shop to buy roses like he used to and saw her outside with another man. He remembered all their happy moments, how she'd always make him dumplings with a coin inside for luck on his birthday. He clutched the flowers and the address he had for her, determined to win her back. In a sudden twist, the man she was with turned out not to be her brother, but an imposter who had been waiting for her all along. He got down on one knee and proposed, leaving Eleanor stunned. Ethan furiously punched Alex to the ground after Alex tried to grab Eleanor, his fiancée. The man on the ground was her ex, Ethan's rival, who had arrived with a bouquet of roses just as she accepted her adopted brother's proposal. Eleanor revealed a shocking truth. Just before the engagement, she discovered Ethan had been using her to get revenge on her brother, Daniel, and even planned to release their intimate videos. Ethan begged for forgiveness. But Eleanor coldly told him she would never forgive him for trying to hurt the most important person in her life.
你伤害我，甚至想用那些视频来伤害我哥，你觉得我会原谅你吗？
Moments earlier, Alex had knelt and told his story. He wasn't her blood relative, but had been adopted by her parents after his family died in a fire. He had loved her his whole life and was terrified of losing her. He proposed a 1-year trial to win her heart and promised he'd keep protecting her as a brother if he failed. Moved by his devotion, Eleanor agreed to give him a chance. Now, she stood by her new fiancé and introduced him to her ex. Ethan couldn't believe it and screamed that they were siblings. She calmly explained they weren't blood related. She then said she had fallen in love with Alex, Ethan's biggest rival. Ethan grabbed her, refusing to accept it. But Alex threw him to the ground. Eleanor told Ethan that the moment he chose to hurt her, he lost her forever. Then she walked away with Alex, leaving Ethan on the pavement crying. Later at home, she felt insecure and asked Alex if he thought she was tainted because of her past. He pulled her into a tight hug and told her she was the purest person he knew, and that it was his fault for not protecting her better. Overcome with emotion, she told him she didn't want to wait a year. She wanted to marry him now. He happily agreed, and they sealed the promise with a kiss. Ethan collapsed in agony, surrounded by empty beer bottles and a spilled bottle of pills.
我这儿有个饭局，你不必等我了。
把这个带上，这个是胃药，你天天在外面应酬，我又不在你身边，那万一你又突然胃疼了怎么办啊？
好，都听乖乖的。
When Eleanor's parents walked in, they found her kissing her fiancé, Alex, and were overjoyed. They immediately started planning a big engagement party. Her mother said she'd been waiting for this day for too long. What they didn't know was Ethan was clutching his stomach in terrible pain. He tried calling her, crying that he was in pain and begging her to come back, but the line was dead and he passed out on the floor. He woke up in a hospital bed with his friends beside him. They said a cleaning lady had found him unconscious and his father had sent them to pick him up. He refused and said he had to stay and win her back. Then his friend Mark delivered crushing news she was getting married. In disbelief, Ethan was shown the wedding invitation. When he saw the bride and groom shared the same last name, he was horrified, thinking she was marrying her own brother. He ripped the invitation to pieces and vowed to stop the wedding. As he tried to get out of bed, a sharp pain hit him and he coughed up blood, collapsing again. Doctors rushed to save him while his friends waited in the hallway. They revealed a dark plan. Ethan had originally won Eleanor by staging a car accident and playing the hero. They planned to repeat the trick to make her fall for him again. But a woman named Sophia, secretly obsessed with Ethan, had overheard their plan. She'd been watching the happy new couple and blamed Eleanor for Ethan's suffering. Thinking her friend's plan wasn't enough, she decided to end it for good. Seeing the couple cross the street, she revved her red convertible and sped straight for them, intending to run Eleanor down. Alex shoved Eleanor out of the way just as a speeding car barreled toward her. He lay unconscious and bleeding on the pavement while she screamed for an ambulance. Sophia, the driver, and an Ethan obsessive, panicked when she realized she had hit the wrong person and sped away. At the hospital, Eleanor's parents arrived as the doctor delivered the devastating news. Alex had lost too much blood and might not wake up. Eleanor was inconsolable and collapsed into her mother's arms. She woke from a nightmare in a hospital bed, screaming for her brother. At his bedside, she remembered how he had always protected her, even as a child. She recalled the time she was about to fall from a climbing wall and he rushed to save her, injuring his hand. Overwhelmed with guilt and love, she told him she couldn't live without him and promised to bring the person who did this to justice. Meanwhile, Sophia visited Ethan in the hospital and brought him food, but he refused to eat. She told him Eleanor was faithless and didn't deserve his love, and that Sophia was the only one who truly cared. He stayed silent and pained. Then Eleanor walked into the room and he called her name in shock.